My hillside has now dried. It's time to turn my attention to the rocks. So there's my French ultramarine. Take a little bit of the burnt umber. Remember, tiny bit at a time. Don't overdo it. And don't do it the other way round. It doesn't work the other way round because burnt umber is a far more dominant colour. That's my nice grey. Add a tiny bit of alizarin crimson to it. Just gives it that subtle warmth. I'm going to apply this to the rocks in the foreground. What I'm going to do with this is leave a little bit of a highlight just along the top edge there. At that point where the water is dark, I want the rock to appear dark against light. So we have this, this contrast thing happening throughout the painting, dark against light. And every painting should be like that. You should be on the lookout for contrasting tones. And if they're not there, then make them be there. Engineer it. Okay, this is the rocks down here. Paint into the grasses a little bit. Create some grasses through negative painting. Let's take that right the way across there. There's a little beach here, a few pebbles and things. And then we have this rock coming in from the right hand side, which again, as you can see, I've left a little bit of a highlight there deliberately to create that contrast. Okay, right, I'm going to use this same colour over on the hillside here to suggest the crags. Now again, the sky is actually quite light there, so I need the crags to appear dark against it. Just soften that off and blend it in a little bit. I think I need just a weeny bit more alizarin crimson in there, just to increase the warmth. Again down here, I'll use the same colour to darken the edge of the water. Suggest a few contours. Just soften that off and blend it in a little bit. The thing we have to be really careful about here is not to create any repetitive patterns. It's got to look natural, so be careful if we're putting stripes on the hillside. We don't want it to look like it's wearing pyjamas. Again, I'm just going to bring that colour down into the water. The best thing with reflections is not to overstate them, I think. I'm going to darken this. There's the middle ground here. I want to darken so it stands out against, again, it's that contrasting tone. Have the light of the grass in the foreground against the dark of the middle ground. And that helps to establish its shape. Just going to go back over the foreground rocks here, just to break it down in tone, give it shape, and I'm also going to bring a little bit of that down into the water. Again, so those reflections, don't need to overdo it. I'm going to vary the mix slightly just by adding a little bit more ultramarine and burnt umber. And again, the rocks just on the right hand side here, just break them up a little bit more. Tiny little bit more detail, I think, in the crags on the hillside. Little highlight there. If you get any random highlights like that, just put a dark tone next to it and it turns it into a rock or a stone boulder. There we go. Final little blast of dark tones along this edge. So I'm creating contours really, as I say, without those details, the whole thing is just going to look a little bit flat if we're not careful. Just using the clean water to soften it off, blend it into the surrounding wash. Don't forget the reflections. As I say, always just work on your reflections while you're working on the rest of the, on the subject itself. That way you don't have to keep remixing the paint to try and match it up. A few more little details here. I just need to leave that to dry for a few minutes and then I can come back and put in the background hill. The way the painting has developed, I rather feel that the distant hills should have the sunlight on them. So what I'm going to do is use the same colours that I used in the initial wet in wet wash. I've already got them in my pot. Use a small brush. This is just a number 10 round brush, an all-rounder. I'll take the cadmium yellow first. I'm just going to begin by outlining the general shape of the hill. There we go. So that's just cadmium yellow. While it's still damp and working quite quickly, I'm going to switch to cadmium red. Finally, French ultramarine. I need to remix that. Doesn't want to be too heavy, it's quite light. Just work that in there. Like so. Okay, so I need to leave that to dry just for a few minutes and then I'm going to come back in and paint in the distant shadows on that hillside. My background has dried now, my background hill, so I'm going to paint in a few little shadow details on there. And for this, I'm going to use a light French ultramarine with a small brush. It's just a number 5 brush. I'm just going to apply those shadows like so. Need a second brush to hand with some clean water so that I can soften that off and blend it in. I'm taking the information really from the sketch that I made on the day. Really doesn't take very much just to give the impression of shape. A little bit more just. Coming across from the right-hand side, I think. All that I have to do now really is to mix up a few really dark tones just to finish off the rocks in the foreground, just to add a few extra little cracks and things. There we go. And soften it off. We need to exaggerate tones sometimes just to make them really stand out. Exaggerate sense of depth. In my sketch, this area is actually very dark, so it seems right that I should return to this and just increase the dark tone a little bit there. That's it. You can soften it off and blend it in, work it across the painting a little bit. Oh, there, I've created another rock. It's great when these things happen accidentally. The trick is to try and capitalise upon it. Let's get some. A bit of rocky detail there. That middle distance is bothering me again slightly. I just want to, again, darken that tone. Just make it stand out. That's better. These rocks in the water just need darkening a little bit more. A little bit of reshaping going on there. As we work towards the darker tones, we can reshape things. A bit of reflection in the water. Again, nothing too heavy. A few more shadows. A few more cracks in the rock. There's a little bit of a dark tone along the edge of the water there, I think. So there we have the finished painting of Grisedale Tarn. So we've learnt that light plays an important role in a painting. It helps to create the whole mood and atmosphere of the piece. And water reflects that light, but don't overdo those reflections.
Now available to buy. Try these techniques at home whenever you wish. The extended DVD of today's workshop is now available from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.